I came back from Afghanistan with scars on my leg and fire still in my chest, but nothing could have prepared me for the sight of strangers sitting in my living room sipping coffee like they owned the place. My house, the one I bled for, saved for, dreamed about, was gone. While I was overseas fighting for my country, the HOA president, Emily Smith, sold it for $500,000 without my consent. She thought I was too broken to fight back. What she didn't know was that my father is Joseph Williams, former Navy SEAL commander, and when you cross me, you cross him too. When I first bought that place, I thought I'd finally found solid ground. 3 bedrooms, a little porch out front, a backyard big enough to grill steaks. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I raised the flag the day I moved in. Some neighbors waved kindly. Others just stared. But then there was Emily. Pearl necklace, stiff shoulders, that permanent sour look on her face. She didn't greet you, she inspected you. First thing she ever said to me was, "We like things tidy here, Mr. Williams. The HOA exists to maintain harmony." Harmony, she called it. I called it control. I was young, proud, and shipping out again soon, so I signed the HOA papers, paid my dues, and tried to stay invisible. But invisible wasn't possible with Emily. She fined me once because my buddy forgot to mow while I was gone. Another time she cited me because my flagpole wasn't approved. It was always something. I ignored it. I had bigger things to survive IEDs and firefights half a world away. But the truth was, while I was patching myself together overseas, Emily was circling my property like a vulture. The day I came home, I limped up to my front steps, duffel bag, heavy heart, ready to collapse into that old recliner, breathe in the smell of my own house. Instead, the door opened, and some guy in khakis told me, "Can I help you?" We bought this place last month from the HOA. His wife was unpacking in my kitchen. Their kids ran across the hardwood floors I'd paid for. I choked out, "This is my house." He shook his head, said it was all legal, and closed the door in my face. And there she was, Emily, standing on the corner with her clipboard, smirking like she'd just won a war without firing a shot. I demanded answers. She cooed, "Robert, you abandoned the property. HOA bylaws allow us to recover costs. We acted in the community's best interest." I shouted, "I was serving in Afghanistan. That's not neglect, that's sacrifice." She didn't flinch. "Rules are rules. You should move on." Her pearls gleamed like armor. My fists shook at my sides. That night, alone in a cheap motel, pain screaming through my leg, anger burning in my chest, I almost broke. I asked myself if maybe she was right. Maybe I should have planned better. Maybe this fight wasn't worth it. I thought about selling what little I had left, disappearing, letting Emily keep her little kingdom. For the first time in a long time, I felt completely powerless. But the next morning, there was a knock on my motel door. My father stood there, tall, gray-haired eyes, still sharp enough to cut steel. He didn't even sit down before asking, "Who do I need to talk to?" In that moment, I remembered something I'd forgotten overseas. Williams men don't fight alone. My dad approached this like a mission. Time, money, authority. Those were his 3 pressure points. We built a timeline of Emily's so-called notices, all rushed sloppy. We traced HOA finances, and neighbors started slipping us receipts and letters. Landscaping fees spiked right before my house sold. A consulting company got paid thousands, but didn't exist beyond a P.O. box tied to Emily's brother-in-law. And the appraisal done by her cousin. Fraud written all over it. Then came Derek, a board member, who whispered into the phone late at night, voice shaking, "I never voted to sell your house." Emily said it was just an option. Then the minutes showed unanimous approval. I didn't sign that. He sent us proof draft reports dated before inspections even happened. My father leaned back calm as ever and said, "She skipped steps. A lot of them. That's where we'll push." We brought in a lawyer, Alicia Park, sharp-eyed and sharper-tongued. She filed injunctions, preservation letters, subpoenas. Suddenly, Emily's emails to the management company weren't her little secrets anymore. Suddenly, neighbors who'd been silent started lining up with their own stories, being fined for invisible dandelions, threatened over Christmas lights, even photographed through windows. A tyrant's empire built on fear was starting to crack. But Emily didn't roll over. She smeared me in community emails, called me unstable, claimed veterans like me couldn't be trusted with property. Reading that almost crushed me. I'd bled for this country, and now I was branded a danger in my own neighborhood. I almost hit reply, ready to burn her down with words. But my dad stopped me. Don't fight mud with mud. Let her bury herself. So instead, we held a barbecue. Half the neighborhood showed up. I stood on a picnic table, told my story, not shouting, just facts. And when I finished, people clapped real and steady. Emily sent out another HOA blast calling it unauthorized assembly. Nobody cared. For the first time, her threats rang hollow. Finally came the night of the showdown. The clubhouse was packed. Reporters lined the back. A district attorney's investigator sat scribbling notes. Emily sat at the front table, Pearl's perfect smile brittle. She slammed the gavel too hard. This meeting will come to order. Her treasurer read numbers no one believed. Then Alicia stood calm and professional. Point of order. As counsel to Mr. Williams, we will present what the HOA has not. My father opened the folder. Exhibit A, the abandonment report drafted before the inspection. Exhibit B, the appraisal tied to Emily's cousin numbers doctored. Exhibit C, consulting fees paid to her brother-in-law's shell company. Exhibit D, board minutes with no actual vote. Derek stood up in the back, voice trembling. That's true. We never voted. The room erupted. Neighbors shouted questions. Where were the minutes? Why the fees? Why the lies? Emily slammed the gavel, shrieking out of order, but order wasn't hers anymore. The DA investigator rose and announced they were reviewing potential criminal charges, fraud, forgery, embezzlement. The sergeant by the door stepped forward with a packet. Emily's face drained as she was placed under arrest. She tried to spit venom. "You'll regret this, I built this place." And from the crowd, a voice cut her down. "You built nothing. We did." The handcuffs clicked shut, reporters' cameras flashed, and the gavel lay sideways on the table like a crown stripped from a pretender. For a long moment, the room was silent. Then Mr. Jenkins, the retired teacher, started clapping, and soon the whole room joined in, not cheering, but releasing years of fear. I didn't smile. I just breathed. Emily was gone. Her empire shattered, her power exposed for what it was, paper and intimidation. And in that moment, I knew one thing clear as day. Fear only controls you until you stand up and shine a light, then tyrants crumble faster than you think.